The target market is a very key, very important part of the whole process because I use the analogy, if you allow me to, of a car and the road. The creative team and the client has decided what type of car they are going to drive. Now they come to the media department to determine where are they going to drive it. How fast are we going to go, how far, what direction, and how fast. So we need to really hone in and say, are we trying to reach and get to every place in the country, or are we just targeting real specific areas? Okay, so that's my analogy for today. I usually don't use a lot of them, but it's kind of a good, appropriate one. So once we determine that we need to do an ad campaign, if it's print or radio or whatnot, we really need to look at where are these products or services provided, where are they sold. That helps determine how broad you have to go. Oftentimes we use, we have to look at the objectives. You know, what type of a campaign is it? Where are we going with it? Is it a real overview, broad campaign, or very targeted, a quick blitz campaign, you know, that type of information. So when we really work all that out, the targeting comes in to play as far as who do we feel the best, most likely candidate would be to purchase our products, make use of our services. So we use some research. A lot of it is determining the most efficient route to take, who to reach, because it costs a lot of money to blanket everyone. So sometimes you can narrow in and say, we only want to talk to the specific group based on a geography or a type of industry. Oftentimes we look at, I'll use cow-calf producers as an example. We want to look at cow-calf producers that are in certain states, but that might be too large also. So then we say, well, let's look at herd size. Can we narrow this down by 100 plus cow-calf producers? Is that a good target? We then look at it and say, are there other qualitative factors that we could use to the tune of making use of those people who have indicated that they deworm their cattle. So that might be an easier sell if, you know, they're already in the mindset of deworming their cattle. Then we can come in and say, here's a new product that could replace your old product for these reasons. So then you already have kind of a captive audience. So kind of start narrowing down that way. It can even get as specific. There are sources out there that get as specific to say those cattle producers who deworm their cattle and use a modified live vaccine. I mean, it's so different than the consumer market. You know, most of that is age and male, female, household income, and that's about, you know, it. So there's ways to really target very specifically. Yeah, and that's always $1 million question because oftentimes decisions are made based on how many inserts it's going to take, how many brochures have to be printed up. And so the clients always say, well, how many 100 plus cow-calf producers are there? So we often use USDA data, you know, look at maps, use their data. We also tap into media sources that might have a circulation. They don't have all of the universe of producers, but they do represent a big share of them, those who are subscribers to their magazines or their newspapers. So they have them already quantified and qualified as being certain demographics. So we can use those sources. It comes down to, years ago, I used to do a mass campaign, and then you could target in more specifically. That's when budgets would allow for that. It takes a lot of money to reach the mass audience. So from an efficiency standpoint, targeting is so much more important nowadays because it costs a lot of money. And clients are saying, I know from our research or our experiences that producers that are 250 plus dairy head of cattle are the most likely target. We don't want to spend time and effort on 100 cow herd or a 50 cow herd. So they themselves sometimes know where they really feel the most likely target is. And again, it comes down to cost and efficiency. What's really going to be effective? Is the person who's a 50 cow herd really going to make the best use of a product that costs a lot of money that they won't see the return on?